Two people can love each other completely and still leave every interaction feeling unloved. Not because the love is fake, because they are speaking different languages and neither of them knows it. This video covers all 5 love languages, what happens when they clash, how to find yours, and what changes when two people finally speak the same one. 1. Words of affirmation. For some people, words are everything. Not grand declarations, not poetry, just being told. Being told they are appreciated. Being told they did something well. Being told, I love you, not as a habit but as something that still means something when it is said. If words of affirmation is your primary love language, you do not just like hearing these things. You need them the way the nervous system needs confirmation that everything is okay. Without them, doubt creeps in. Silence starts to feel like disapproval. The absence of verbal affirmation does not just feel like a lack of words, it feels like a lack of love. People whose primary language is words of affirmation are often told they are needy or insecure when they ask for verbal reassurance. This is the wrong diagnosis. They are not insecure, they are speaking the clearest version of their language and asking their partner to meet them there. The problem arises when their partner is not a natural verbal communicator, when the partner shows love through action and assumes that action speaks loudly enough. It does not. Not to someone whose nervous system is calibrated to receive love through words. The action might as well not exist if it is never accompanied by the sentence that confirms what it means. What words of affirmation sounds like in a healthy relationship? I noticed what you did, and I want you to know it mattered. I am proud of you. I love doing life with you. You are exactly who I needed. Not complicated, not expensive, just said, regularly, like it is true because it is. 2. Acts of service. For the acts of service person, love is not what you say. Love is what you do. And more specifically, love is what you do without being asked. The partner who notices the tank is empty and fills it before you mention it. The partner who handles the thing you were dreading so you do not have to. The partner who takes something off your plate not because they were told to, but because they were paying enough attention to know it was there. Acts of service is one of the most misunderstood love languages because to someone who does not speak it, the requests can sound like nagging or demands. Why do you need me to do that? I already told you I love you. But telling someone you love them and then watching them struggle with something you could help with, when their love language is acts of service, is the equivalent of saying, I love you in a language they cannot hear. The words land. The action is what would have reached them. This love language is also the one most closely tied to the feeling of being seen. When someone acts in service of your life, when they anticipate your needs, when they step in before you ask, it communicates something more than helpfulness. It communicates attention. It says, I have been watching you closely enough to know what you need before you said it. And for the person who speaks this language, that attention is the most romantic thing in the world. 3. Receiving gifts. This is the love language that gets the most unfair judgment, because in a culture that is suspicious of materialism, saying, my love language is gifts sounds shallow. It is not. And the reason it sounds shallow is because people confuse the symbol with the substance. For someone whose primary love language is receiving gifts, the gift itself is rarely the point. The point is what the gift represents, that you were thinking of them when they were not there. That you were paying enough attention to know what they would love. That they crossed your mind on an ordinary Wednesday, and you did something about it. The most powerful gifts in this love language are almost never expensive. They are specific. The book by the author they mentioned once. The snack they said they had not had since childhood. The small thing brought back from a trip that says, I was away, and I was thinking of you. These gestures communicate a sustained awareness of the other person that goes beyond the moment of giving. They say, you live in my thoughts even when you are not in my presence. The person whose love language is gifts does not want you to spend money. They want you to pay attention. The gift is just the evidence that you did. For quality time. Quality time is not proximity. This is the most important distinction for anyone trying to love someone whose primary language is quality time, and it is the one most commonly missed. Sitting in the same room while both people are on their phones is not quality time. Eating dinner while the television is on is not quality time. Being physically present while mentally elsewhere is not quality time. Quality time is undivided, intentional presence. The phone is down. The attention is here. The conversation is about something real. Or the silence is the comfortable kind that only comes from two people who are genuinely with each other. For the quality time person, the worst thing their partner can do is be there, but not be there. Partial presence is often more painful than absence, because absence at least has a clear shape. Partial presence is ambiguous. Are you here? Are you interested? Do I have your attention? The uncertainty is its own kind of loneliness. What quality time looks like when it is done right. The dinner where neither person looks at their phone. The walk where both people are actually talking about something. The evening that had no particular agenda except being in the same space and choosing each other's company. It does not have to be long. It has to be real. The mismatch. Why you can love each other and still feel unloved. Here is the situation that destroys more genuinely loving relationships than almost anything else. Two people who love each other deeply, who are both trying, who are both showing up, and both of whom consistently feel unloved by the other. Not because the love is absent, because each person is pouring love into the relationship in their own language, and the other person cannot receive it in that form. He shows love through acts of service. He handles everything practical. He takes stress off her. He works hard to provide. In his mind, his love is everywhere. She shows love through words. She tells him constantly how much he means to her, how proud she is of him, how grateful she is that he is her person. In her mind, her love is equally everywhere. And yet both of them sit in the same relationship feeling vaguely, persistently, quietly starved. He never says the things she needs to hear. She never does the things that would make him feel cared for. Neither of them is failing. Both of them are missing. This is the mismatch. And it is not solved by trying harder in your own language. It is solved by learning to speak theirs. Gary Chapman, who developed the love languages framework, describes this as the difference between filling and overflowing each other's love tanks, and you can only fill someone's tank in the currency their tank accepts. All the effort in the world delivered in the wrong form leaves the other person empty and leaves you exhausted. Learn the language. Not yours. Theirs. How to identify your love language. Most people have a general sense of their love language, but the self-report is often inaccurate because people tend to identify with the language they wish they received rather than the one they actually need. So, here are 3 more reliable ways to identify your primary love language. The first is to examine what you complain about most in relationships. Your complaints are your love language in reverse. If you consistently find yourself saying, "You never tell me you appreciate me," words of affirmation. "You are never actually present when we are together," quality time. "You never just do things without me having to ask," acts of service. The complaint is the absence of the thing you need most. The second is to notice what you do naturally for the people you love. We tend to give love in the language we most want to receive, so if you're someone who is always finding small gifts for people, writing notes, remembering meaningful details, your language is likely gifts. If you are the person who shows up and handles things, acts of service, the way you love is often the way you most want to be loved. The third is to think about the moment in a relationship when you have felt most loved. Not the grandest gesture. The most deeply felt. What was happening? What did they do or say? The answer is usually your language.